All right, today we're going to talk about picking a co-founder. First of all, I'm an advocate for picking a co-founder and not going it alone. But here's the thing. When you pick a co-founder, it's very much like a marriage. And you want to have a co-founder that can go the distance with you. I am not at all an advocate of getting into business with your best friend. In fact, that's a bit of a red flag for me. When I see these husband and wife couples that say, hey, we're going to start a business together, I'm always a little bit worried about that. It often doesn't go that well. And so one of the things I think you have to give a lot of thought to is to picking that right partner that complements your skills, helps you become better at your job, and you help them become better at their job. And the two of you just push the thing along to be a much better company. You need that check and balance. It's fun to have that working partner who will tell you the honest truth, look out for you, and becomes a great partner over the years. But finding that partner takes some time, and you have to do some real digging. So for example, if you're a night owl and the other person likes to get up early, yet you have to work together, that's not a great working relationship at all. So you have to have a relationship that is structured in such a way that the two of you can work together at times when you're most efficient together. You have to have skills that complement each other and don't clash and don't contrast each other where they end up in you fighting each other. So, for instance, I've seen co-founders where one's technically brilliant and the other one has very good business sense. But the technically brilliant is inept in a meeting and is terrible, and so the other co-founder doesn't want them there at all. Those types of things happen all the time where there's a mismatch of skills and mismatch of capabilities. The other problem that you run into when you have the co-founder type relationship is as the organization grows, often the skills of one start to develop while the other one starts to fall behind. And you can't have that happen either. You need both of you as functioning partners to be able to move ahead together. And so when you're picking your partner, you want to have somebody who has terrific skills, who you think are going to help you launch that business down the line. Don't sit there and go, well, I really like working with my best friend, and therefore they're going to be a part of this business, and we're going to do well together. That's not going to happen. Chances are you're going to end up in a fight, and you're going to lose your friendship. And you don't want that to happen either. Believe me, I've made this mistake of working with friends in the past. And it never ends well, and it's a shame that it doesn't. I wish there were more examples of just friendships that were able to work together, but I don't see it happening a lot in real life. So I would caution you against it. Go out and really spend the time looking for that right co-founder. So now, where do you find them? So you talk to other people, like I say in so many things. You go out and you say, this is what my idea is, and I'm looking for a co-founder. And you get out there and you start talking to people who might have a similar idea or a similar belief in what it is you want to accomplish and are willing to go the distance. Do they have the same drive as you? Do they have the same education as you? Are they willing to put in those extra hours and go the distance? Do they have your back? And most of all, check their character. Look for examples of somebody who has solid character. Don't sit there. I saw a question on Quora the other day about somebody picking a partner who had who had a long criminal record. And I'm going, how is that going to end well? That's just not going to be a great situation because, they might be wanting to turn their life over. And boy, I would love it if they did turn their life over. But now you've got to explain that in every investor meeting. It's different if you were to have a business where you weren't bringing investors in and they had some special talent. But this could be a really difficult challenge for you and something you're going to have to explain. So you have to be ready to do that. I'm all for giving people another chance. That's not at all. But be very careful about that type of partner that you pick because you don't want to have to explain them away in a meeting, whether it's because of talent, whether it's because of background, whether it's because of reputation. Any of those things, those aren't the kind of characteristics that you want as you're bringing your business forward. And so when you find that potential partner, spend a lot of time getting to know each other. Agree to work together for some limited amount of time, and if it doesn't work out, Know how you're going to separate that working relationship and say, hey, we're just not going to be great working partners on this deal. That kind of stuff can happen, and the two of you can part ways as friends, and everything will be just fine. So consider some type of short engagement where you get to know each other and think of how you're going to go forward. Now, the other thing that you have to think about and discuss early on is what you're going to do in the event that one of you is falling behind in the needs of the organization. That's the reality, is that, the needs of a small business and the needs of a mid-sized and growing company are all different. And so some founders have the ability to go with each stage that a company is in, and others don't. And so if you are with somebody who you're trying to build a company with and they're not able to go the distance, you need to have a way to be able to move them out of the organization, preserve some equity for their contribution in the company. You don't have to just zero them out, but at the same time, they can't go away with half of the company if they're not contributing, because you're going to have a crappy cap table at some point, and then investors aren't going to want to invest in you. So you want to be reasonable in terms of contribution over a certain amount of time going forward. And don't sit there and go, well, they came up with the idea, so that's worth 90% of the company. That's not it at all. Ideas are everywhere. I've said this in other videos, and it's the execution of the idea that gives it value. And so over time, you want to be able to build that organization and the equity between your partners as you're able to take the company forward. But most of all, really vet those candidates so you have a great working relationship, but know what you're going to do if it's not a great working relationship. So that's it for today. Thank you very much, and see you next time. Where you can find us is go down and hit the subscribe button. That helps us a lot. You can find us on middlerock.com. We have upcoming Zoom calls that we do that you can participate in and ask your questions. We do kind of an informal town hall, so you can kind of be a part of that. We call it our open house. You can also find me on Entrepreneurship on Quora, as well as Tom Nault on Quora, and my personal page, Tom Nault. So you can find me in all of these places. Write to us. We'll do our best to answer your questions and help you out any way we can. Thanks for watching.